I'll admit it, I love the scouting part of hunting as much, if not more, than the actual hunting. I went out for 3 hours yesterday on a scout trip on a piece of property I'll be hunting for the 2016 archery season here in Minnesota. And, man, was it good for the soul. I love coming out here and seeing what the deer are eating, how they're traveling, where they're bedding down. This field's loaded with wild roses, and I couldn't find a single rose hip on them. Something's really been heavily feeding out here. This area's got a lot of deer. Some sumac, not the poisonous kind. That actually makes a pretty good tea. It's loaded with vitamin C. The property I'll be hunting this year is 40 acres of private property. And it's kind of a natural wash that comes down to that creek you saw in the beginning. It's a big wash, though. It's 40 acres of just kind of slowly coming down. A couple ridge lines, but slowly coming down into that watershed. And then on top, it's surrounded by cornfields and farms. It's just a natural deer magnet because it's got so much food, cover, and a source to water. And I'll hunt this two different ways. When the corn is up, I'll be hunting near the cornfields, and when the corn comes down, I'll be hunting more so in the woods. When you're hunting a piece of property this big, it's really nice to have a machine like the ATV or the motorcycle to cover a large amount of area. It'd take days to scout a place like this on foot. That's goldenrod. It's all over Minnesota too. And fresh or dry makes a really good tonic or tea. It's loaded with vitamin C as well. Property's loaded with black raspberries. That's a favorite deer food as well. Mostly in the spring, though. They'll get the young shoots. This will be a totally different experience than last year. This will probably make it look pretty easy. Last year I was hunting a piece of public property, pretty wild, farther up north, and the deer are very shy of humans. You really got to practice scent control, and you got to be quiet. Here it won't be as crucial. These deer, they're used to farm machinery, banging around. They're used to the smell of people. I'll still have to practice those two things, of course, but it just won't be as crucial. Wow. There's a deer hunter tree if I've ever seen one. It's right on the edge of this cornfield. See, I love this part of it. Look at all these shooting lanes. I'm looking at, where I could shoot. That'd be a great place for a stand. Got a natural egress coming in and out of the field. A lot of deer sign, a lot of deer track here. Going to put that on the GPS, and I think I will come back here and I'll put up a stand, maybe put a mineral block here. Now, like I said, this whole area is a natural wash, but then you got these gullies, and if you're really hunting for monster bucks, I'm not. I'm a meat hunter. I don't really care about the horns. In fact, I'd rather have a younger doe, to be honest with you, to put in the freezer. But areas like this, these gullies, that's where the old bucks, the old smart bucks, they're gonna be using these as streets, basically. Deer are lazy, so all these trails, the owner of the property, he mows these trails down. Deer are lazy; they'll use the trails, but these old smart bucks, they'll use these gullies to get around. That's how they get old and big. They stay out of sight more. So if you were hunting for horns, this might be a better place to do that. These big spores. Mushrooms as big as my head. Now here's part of that gully I was just walking down, and I've got to stand up here already. A lot of tracks here. They're coming off that cornfield to my right, and they're walking out of the cornfield and down that gully. So I put my cheapo stand up there. I did find a nice old oak, but unfortunately it wasn't letting out any acorns. Acorns are a great attractant for deer. I love to find an acorn tree. And it looks like this one is produced in the past, but I could only find old acorns. I couldn't see any coming from the tree. I can only find some old husks on the ground. Maybe some old rotten acorns. Like that one. That's old. That's not this year. However, check out that print. Those are deep. That means it was a big, heavy deer. And see, again, if you're hunting for those old bucks, they remember these trees, the ones that put out the acorns, and they come back anyway. They do remember these food sources, so they come back and check them. The guy that owns the property, he cuts these paths through. His wife likes to walk them sometimes. But the place is like a maze back there. There's just paths everywhere. And deer like that. They like these paths. They'll use them. I found some young oaks here. They won't be putting out acorns for a long time, but I stopped and looked around anyway. Still got some nice coverage here. I love this, guys. I know I already said that, but even I'm just watching the video again, and I just love this. I just love being out there. This is key right here. You've got all these paths. This whole wash in this area comes down to this valley. And there's always access to water here. All animals need water. It's really a beautiful piece of property. Look at that big weeping willow. Take a picture. Now you know why I don't want to come back. I mean, 3 hours feels like 5 minutes out there. After being cramped up for 3 weeks in the house, it was just so nice to get back out there, and the cooler weather has set in. The hardest part about this piece of property will just be picking a spot to hunt. There's signs, bedding, food plots everywhere. I'll probably end up settling on one of those crossroad sections in there where the paths come together. But it's hard to choose where to hunt, where the best place would be. Anyway, thanks for coming along, guys. There'll be more vids to come.